Today we're going to talk about polling heading into midterms and what it means for Democrats. And I interviewed the host of the QAnon Anonymous podcast all about what QAnon is and what it means that Republicans are embracing the conspiracy more and more. I'm Brian Tyler Cohen, and you're watching No Lie. Okay, so we all know how midterms work for the party in power. Republicans lost 31 seats in 2006 during George W. Bush's presidency. Democrats got crushed in 2010, losing 12 seats in the Senate and 64 seats in the House. And, of course, Republicans lost 41 seats in the blue wave year of 2018. So for this year, given the fact that Democrats hold majorities in both chambers of Congress, plus the White House, along with the fact that Biden's approval rating is still underwater at about 41%, it shouldn't be close. But I want to go over some of the newest polls that we have. In Pennsylvania, Fetterman is leading Oz by 18 points. 18. In Arizona, Mark Kelly's polling 8 points ahead of Blake Masters. In Georgia, Warnock's polling about a point ahead of Herschel Walker. In Ohio, Tim Ryan's about a point ahead of J.D. Vance. North Carolina, Sherry Beasley is about tied with Ted Budd. In Nevada, Cortez Masto is about a point ahead of Adam Laxalt. In Wisconsin, Mandela Barnes is polling 4 points ahead of Ron Johnson. And of course, look, these things change with every poll, but the point is that in an environment where history says Democrats should be losing, they are very much in these races. Now, with all of that said, don't trust the polls. I think if we've learned anything these last few years, it's that polling kind of sucks. But at least what we can take from this is the bigger story, which is that on the right, when you have candidates like Herschel Walker, who makes Donald Trump look like an oratory genius, and Dr. Oz, whose idea of being an everyman is walking into a grocery store whose name he doesn't know, free-handing a bunch of vegetables and calling it crudité, and Blake Masters, who's been embraced by white nationalists and who himself has replaced white replacement theory. When you have candidates like that, who all appealed to the farthest fringes of the GOP to win their primaries, they're all making it really difficult to win their general election races because of who they are. Add in the fact that the entirety of the Republican Party has been trying to one-up each other in terms of how restrictive their abortion bans can be and refusing to make exceptions in the case of rape or incest or life of the mother. And they've turned what history says should be an easy win into a really, really competitive election. And just as importantly, Democrats are showing up in a big way. And look, I was on this video podcast, this past winter, basically mourning the fact that we squandered our majority with, a roads bill. But now, 8 months later, we passed the IRA, which is the biggest climate bill in history, allows the government to negotiate lower drug prices, caps drug costs, shores up the ACA. We passed the PACT Act and CHIPS. We passed the infrastructure package and the American Rescue Plan. We passed the first gun safety legislation in decades. We recovered every single job lost during the pandemic and brought the unemployment rate down to a 50-year low. Gas prices and inflation are still high, but they're both on their way down. I mean, you'd be kidding yourselves if you didn't acknowledge that this has been a monumentally productive 2 years, a historically productive 2 years, especially considering we're working with razor-thin margins. Kamala Harris has cast 26 tie-breaking votes. That's the third most in history. The Senate's also working on reforms to the Electoral Count Act, so this will be a productive Congress. And I think for people to see that a body that notoriously does nothing can actually get stuff done when you elect enough of the right people, that makes a difference. So look, as far as November goes, here's what's at stake. It's pretty simple. If we elect a couple more Democrats, which we can already do in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin pretty easily, and we hold our other seats, and we hold the House, we can eliminate the filibuster and codify Roe. We can make gerrymandering illegal and finally eliminate the massive margin that we have to overcome every election cycle to continue holding the House. We can take more aggressive action against fossil fuels in addition to the carrots that we have now for clean energy. And if Republicans take control, we're going to see legislation banning abortion at the federal level. We're going to see a pullback in climate spending. We're going to see no more judges get confirmed. And we'll be mired in investigations into, Hunter Biden or whatever other bullshit Republicans can cook up to appeal to whatever Fox News comment section they're performing for. So I know I sound like a broken record, but find people in your circle and make sure they are registered and have a plan to vote. Because we're on the right track, so let's go a little bit farther and bring it home. To listen to the host of the QAnon Anonymous podcast all about what QAnon is and what it means that Republicans are embracing that conspiracy more and more, click the thumbnail right here on the screen or check out the interviews playlist on my YouTube channel.